As President Trump's war of choice in Iran stretches further into its 6th month, his positions on the war have gotten increasingly detached from reality. The latest example is his claim that he would declare the Strait of Hormuz a U.S. territory when the Iran war is over. It comes as the president is pressing the military to make more costly changes to equipment to suit his preferences. The Washington Post reports that the Navy is considering a redesign of new aircraft carriers to match his preferred aesthetic. Trump wants them to have a World War II look that would cost billions. Meanwhile, as controversy grows surrounding reports of poor living conditions and low morale aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln during its more than 200 days at sea, CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper, who is overseeing the war with Iran, visited the carrier Saturday as it prepares to return home from a 9-month deployment. Chief Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell blamed the media for what he called a false narrative about conditions on the Lincoln, putting him in lockstep with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and President Trump's comments this week dismissing the controversy.
Completely misrepresented. Listen, we make sure that every ship, every crew, every captain has everything we can provide them at every single moment. I have to say,
family members of U.S. service members are concerned about the conditions on board the USS Lincoln.
Well, no, that ship is moving. No, they're not. That ship is moving right now, or very shortly, and it's being replaced with another very similar ship.
Has the deployment's gone on too long?
No. Not nearly long enough. Thank you, everybody.
Former New York Congressman and senior advisor to Vote Vets Max Rose is back with us. It is just jaw-dropping to listen to the administration blame the sailors, the Marines who were aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, and to blame their families instead of actually trying to provide them with the equipment and the supplies necessary for morale. You know, I think back to World War II, and you've got Army Chief of Staff George Marshall, and all he cared about was making sure that the troops had what they needed to keep morale high. These guys are just the antithesis of that.
Sure. I mean, look, if there wasn't a problem, the CENTCOM commander, a 4-star, general would not be touching down, on the vessel, right? Clearly there was an issue here, but it's not just an issue with the Lincoln, right? What this is an issue of a failure to prepare for this protracted war.
Remember, they have the resources on there if they had made a plan to stay there that long.
The thing wouldn't have been diverted. They would have had the resources. The deployment would have been extended. The whole
it's like
the whole
food,
nine.
The horrible food is one thing, but then when you consider our munitions stock and interceptors, we've used more this year since Desert Storm.
They said that this was going to be a 4 to 6 week conflict. They did not prepare for the ways in which Iran would shut down the Strait of Hormuz. They did not prepare for the ways in which Iran would make this a regional conflict and start to decisively bomb all of our bases in the area, multiple countries. They did not prepare for the ways in which this would bleed into the war in Ukraine, or how this would impact our sense of our allies in East Asia. And they're now saying, oh, my God, will America be there for us? And would they be effective if China attacked our sovereignty? So over and over and over again, what we are seeing is a president, commander in chief, who rushed into a war, a reckless, unconstitutional war that was not thought out, and the entire country now is suffering for that.
Can we listen to, zoom out a little bit, what Trump claims about the U.S. controlling the Strait of Hormuz, which we all know
I
is
was
not
just
true.
going to go to that, too, because we're going to be in this war so long as
that is
we don't control the Strait of Hormuz, despite Trump's claims otherwise.
So let's play that.
We control the Strait 100%.
Iran is going fine, going just absolutely fine. We totally control the Strait of Hormuz. We have control over it. Nobody else, only us. We have total control over the Hormuz Strait right now. They don't have control. We have total control. We own it.
Pretty soon I'll be declaring the Hormuz Strait a territory of the United States. We have the blockade. No ships get through unless we want them to.
Congressman, this was this week. like Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Those are from. And that is the thing that is like, because when I first started reading them, I was like, oh, maybe that, oh no, that's this week. I thought they were old. Pretty soon I'll be declaring the Hormuz Strait a territory of the United States.
I mean, that's just la-la.
It's
land.
water. It's not the same thing. Iran is going just absolutely fine. This is not a real estate deal in New York City.
You can't just, it's not Greenland.
Yeah, you can't PR your way out of it.
Let me first of all tell that to the families of the service members who have lost their life in this conflict. To them, it is not going fine. Tell that to every single American when they're seeing the price of gas at the pump, that this is going fine. Clearly, it is not. You know, the insurance companies that are charging exorbitant rates on any ship going through the strait or contemplating going through the strait certainly don't think that the United States controls the strait right now. Prior to this year, when this war kicked off, Iran never exercised this power that it has over the strait. So in many ways, and this is what makes this so reckless and destructive, is that this is not the type of thing that will end this year, right? Even if you had this agreement that they're talking about, right? The very next day, the entire world will understand that at any point, Iran could bomb a ship in the strait. They now have displayed to the entire world, to the region, to the United States, that they control that area because they can attack a ship at any moment. You know, this is not just a war that has had consequences to the family members of those who have passed. It is a war that has set America back and our ability to project power. That's what makes this so reckless and destructive as well.
He has taught a lesson that other presidents did not want to teach Iran, which is that the Strait of Hormuz is probably better than having a nuclear weapon, honestly, because it can destroy an entire economy on the whole planet. Former Congressman Max Rose, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.